Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Simhachalam.de, 3rd Canto, Chapter 25, entitled The Glories of Devotional Service, text number 21. Titik Sava Karunika Surida Sarvadinam Ajata Satavashanta Sadava Sadhubhusana Titik Sava Karunika Suridam Sarvadinam Ajata Satavasanta Sadava Sadhubhusana Titik Sava Karunika Surida Sarvadinam Ajata Satravasanta Sadava Sadhubhusana Surida Sarvadehina Ajata Satravasanta Sadava Sadhubhusana Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehina Ajata Satravasanta Sadava Sadhubhusana Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehinam Ajata Satravasanta Sadava Sadhubhusana. Ladies. Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehinam Ajata Satravasanta Sadava Sadhubhusana Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehinam Ajata Satravasanta Sadava Sadhubhusana Titikshavaha tolerant. Karunika merciful. Surida friendly. Sarvadehina to all living entities. Ajata Shatrava inimical to none. Santaha peaceful. Sadhava abiding by scriptures. Sadhubhusanaha adorned with sublime characteristics. Translation. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Purport. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. The Odani are a little loud. No, it's whatever it is, if it could slightly be softer. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country from door to door preaching. Be Krishna conscious. Be a devotee of Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply following your animal propensities. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. These are the preachings of a sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is the most compassionate personality towards all the fallen souls. One of his qualifications, therefore, is karunika, great mercy to the fallen souls. While engaged in preaching work, he has to meet with so many opposing elements, and therefore the sadhu or devotee of the Lord has to be very tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. They do not like it. That is their disease. The sadhu has the thankless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Lord Jesus Christ was crucified, Haridas Thakur was caned in 22 marketplaces, and Lord Chaitanya's principal assistant Nityananda was violently attacked by Jagai and Madai. But still, they were very tolerant because their mission was to deliver the fallen souls. One of the qualifications of a sadhu is that he is very tolerant and is merciful to all fallen souls. He is merciful because he is the well-wisher of all living entities. He is not only a well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal society as well. It is said here, sarvadeinam, which indicates all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Not only does the human being have a material body, but other living entities, such as cats and dogs, also have material bodies. The devotee of the Lord is merciful to everyone, the cats, dogs, trees, etc., and treats all living entities in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from this material entanglement. Shivananda Sen, one of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, gave liberation to a dog by treating the dog transcendentally. There are many instances where a dog got salvation by association with the sadhu because the sadhu engages in the highest philanthropic activities for the benediction of all living entities. Yet, although a sadhu is not inimical towards anyone, the world is so ungrateful that even a sadhu has many enemies. What is the behavior between an enemy and a friend? It is a difference in behavior. A sadhu behaves with all conditioned souls for their ultimate relief from material entanglement. Therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu in relieving a conditioned soul. A sadhu is calm, and he quietly and peacefully follows the principles of Scripture. A sadhu means one who follows the principles of Scripture and at the same time is a devotee of the Lord. One who actually follows the principles of the Scripture must be a devotee of God, because all the Shastras instruct us to obey the orders of the personality of Godhead. Sadhu, therefore, means follower of the scriptural injunctions and a devotee of the Lord. All these followers of scriptural all these characteristics are prominent in a devotee. A devotee develops all the good qualities of the demigods, whereas a non-devotee, even though academically qualified, has no actual good qualification or good characteristics according to the standard of transcendental realization. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyanandana Salakaya Shakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. So here the qualities of the devotee are described, and I see all these qualities in you, at least to an extent, and that makes such a gathering inspiring, because we see that at least externally we are dedicated to these ideals, whether we have fully realized, who is as tolerant as Haridas Thakur, who has all these qualities to the same extent as the great personalities in Srimad Bhagavatam, all the Mahajans have. But still, to maintain such qualities, that is our culture. And these are our ideals, and these are the things which we are keeping in high esteem. And so, tolerance, mercy, friendly to all living entities, no enemies, peaceful, abiding by the scriptures, such nice qualities. That makes it inspiring. And we see all the Sankirtan devotees who have dedicated themselves to distribute books, or we see the cooks who are not sleeping in such a festival, they are just cooking. We see the pujaris. I mean, Ramananda told me he went to bed at 1:30 last night, and still in full gear today, still going strong. And that is the way that devotional service carries on. Somehow or other, we are ready to sacrifice our self-interest. So much is done, and it is not a commercial enterprise. It is all a devotional enterprise, and even if there are some costs in this, it is all aimed to somehow or other carry on and serve the Vaishnavas. So this culture is so important, and to come together with the devotees is nourishing. I think everyone can come from such a festival with some fresh inspiration. Definitely, not artificial, but genuinely, because we can genuinely see that people have shown some extraordinary dedication. Somehow or other, in this assembly, I am the only sannyasi, and then sometimes the sannyasi gets the spotlight. Like all the eyes are on the sannyasi, and everyone expects that the sannyasi is going to do it. He's going to do something very deep, very powerful, very spiritual, very inspiring, and all the time. Okay? 24 hours a day. That would be the best. So, and then in such a vertical mood, everyone expects that I am going to be the one who is going to give the inspiration. But I don't see it like that. Rather, I got inspiration. I got inspiration from so many, of you, in various ways. I can really appreciate. I used to be here, and there used to be a Prabhupada disciple named, anyway, he was a pujari, and he would come and he would do a lot of mantra and tantra, right? Lots of rituals and lots of mantra. So I used to think all this hocus pocus, right? I mean, it's not the essence, the essence is compassion, the essence is preaching. I was thinking like that. But then he was installing a chakra on top of this building, and he did a 3-day installation. And he was chanting mantras and mantras and mantras and mantras and mantras and mantras, and then a few more mantras. To a point, where he lost his voice. Right? Now, I've also many times lost my voice when there was so much kirtan. So I could identify with that. There I felt like, okay, we are now sharing something, we both lose our voice in devotional service. And with that I realized, yes, he really did it. He really did it. He really made a sacrifice, right? He really did something that's not so easy. And he tried to install that chakra and invoke the presence of Lord Vishnu, and maybe he did, I was thinking. Maybe it was more than hocus pocus. Maybe it was more than just this mantra and that mantra, because he really gave himself with dedication. Right? So, and then I thought, yes, I think the Lord actually appeared. I think he's in the chakra on the roof, if you had any doubts about it. It's not just a chakra on the roof, I tell you that. That chakra was installed there with mantras. So in this way, we can appreciate the potency of the dedication of the Vaishnavas. After Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, somehow or other, by some arrangement, some tricks of Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, somehow or other, by some tricks of Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya was brought to the house of Advaita Acharya. And then all the devotees, they came there, they all got the news, and Mother Sachi then was brought in a palanquin. And then Mother Sachi, who she knew that according to etiquette, especially followed at that time strictly, a sannyasi should not see his relatives, because he should leave home and he should not go back to his home. Of course, so Lord Chaitanya followed that for the sake of public recognition. Now we may recall that Lord Chaitanya took Ekadanda sannyas, and Ekadanda sannyas includes those principles. In Tridandi Vaishnav sannyas, that's not an issue. He can even go home and bestow mercy upon his relatives, except the former wife. There, he has to keep a distance. Anyhow, so Lord Chaitanya, somehow or other, by a trick of Nityananda, met all the devotees from Bengal and even Mother Sachi. And then Lord Chaitanya showed a transcendental mood. He said, what could I have done? I was mad. Somehow or other I took sannyas in a fit of madness, but now it's too late. Now it's done. Now what will I do? How could I give up my mother? But now it's done. So then Mother Sachi, she begged, and she said, I beg that I may be allowed to cook this week, and that I'll be the only one to cook, because everyone wanted to cook. But that was granted. So Mother Sachi was the only one to cook. And when Mother Sachi cooked, it was just something else. It was like she cooked. Anytime she cooked, it was special. But this time she knew she was cooking for the last time for Nimai. So she was cooking with so much love and so much devotion, and she was just putting everything in there, whatever she made. And then it was offered, and then when the devotees got the Mahaprasadam, just tasting one bite of it, that prasadam was just not prasadam, if you know what I mean. It was prasadam. I mean, there is prasadam and prasadam, you know what I mean? And also just prasadam. I mean, you can buy this stuff from the supermarket, read the ingredients, said, well, it's vegetarian. Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, prasadam. That is prasadam. Right? But then there is prasadam, if you know what I'm talking about, where the devotee has just, with great love and great dedication, taken so much effort to do something extraordinary, and you can taste it at every bite, that this is something extraordinary. And that's what the devotees were tasting when Mother Sachi too. So this movement is made of dedication. It is the dedication that makes things special. And it is the dedication that is the means by which we preach. If we think that preaching means to learn the art of hypnosis, then we're making a mistake. You feel like you want to take this book. You really feel it. We have to actually, we purchase, a devotee purchases other with their dedication. Another story which I like, since I was talking about Lord Chaitanya's sannyas, is in the Chaitanya Chandradori Natak, it is said that every night in the house of Srivas there was kirtan. And there was one night, one devotee got a little tired. It was going on the whole night. So he found himself a corner and he went to sleep somewhere in the house. When he woke up, everybody was gone. The house was empty. So he came out of the house and he met a devotee there. And then the devotee said, you have heard, the Lord is gone. And he said, yes, of course, yes, the Lord is gone. Everybody is gone. The whole house is empty. But then he was thinking, no, maybe he didn't mean it like that. Maybe he meant that the Lord is gone. He said, you mean the Lord is gone? And it was. Thank you. The Lord is gone. So that was a big drama. It just said all the devotees were just on the edge of dying, and they only lived by the rope of hope. But then, then they started to look sort of if anybody else was missing. And they sort of realized that Nityananda was missing and Acharya Ratna was also missing. So then Acharya Ratna, at one point, Acharya Ratna returned. So when Acharya Ratna was coming back, all the devotees came to him and said, Acharya Ratna, what happened? And Acharya Ratna couldn't speak, but the devotees forced him to speak. So then finally he spoke, the Lord took sannyas. And although he covered his mouth, everyone understood it, that the Lord took sannyas. And then Acharya Ratna said, but I don't know why I left him. How could I leave him? When I was in his association, how could I leave him? But I left on the order of Nityananda, who sent me here with a message for Advaita Acharya. And the message was that I will somehow or other bring Nimai to the house of Advaita Acharya. And when Advaita Acharya heard this, Advaita Acharya jumped up in the air, started to dance in great ecstasy and said, Nityananda, Nityananda, what a friend, he has conquered me. He has conquered me. So, I've told this story many times. And the reason why I tell this many times, because to me it's not a story. It's not a story which is like good story. It is a good story, but it's a lot more than a good story. It's a pillar in my life. It is an essential principle that I learned from that, is that in relationships we have to conquer. We have to conquer. We can never take them for granted. We can never think, now this person's commitment is assured. Whether it is a marriage and the ring goes on the finger, it means nothing. It's just a little bit of metal. It means nothing. It means one has to conquer. It's not, now the ring is there, now it's conquered. No, one has to conquer. In the same way, between guru and disciple, one may initiate someone. Doesn't mean they become our property, although they are our property. Technically speaking, they are our property from the time of initiation. I didn't tell that in the yajna, but I'm telling it now after. Right? Yes, according to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are our property. All right, well, that's nice, but still, they don't always behave like our property, these disciples. Because it doesn't work like that. Just a banana in the fire and now you are my property. No, it is an ongoing process of conquering. So relationships are based on conquering. And it is that, in that way, that we are able to spread this movement. That we are conquering people. It is not through some technique. It is simply by great qualities. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanya, most magnanimous. And devotees are also magnanimous. They will give. Dadati pratikrinati. They will give gifts and they will receive gifts. So this is an important point of loving exchange, of generosity. And such generosity is our trademark. In the course of working on the master plan for Mayapur, we came across a man called Charles Eisenstein. Not Einstein, but Eisenstein. Right? Pretty close. And Charles Eisenstein came up with an idea called sacred economics. And it was an economics based on giving. Instead of charging for everything, it is all based on giving. And if one person gives to another, the other person becomes indebted and feels like doing something in exchange. And he is an economist, so he just drew a whole model on how an economy can work that way. Instead of pay your way. Right? Pay your way where everyone is in competition with each other. And you can find it on YouTube, Sacred Economics. And it is very nice. And when I saw this, I thought, this is ours. He somehow or other came across something that belongs to Lord Chaitanya. That is the economics of Mayapur. I saw that as if we're making the master plan. This is the economics of Mayapur. This is how it should be. Mayapur should be a place of such generosity that everyone who comes is overwhelmed and just feels indebted. And then feels like doing some service, something in exchange. Can I do something? Because we're giving so much. That is the principle. Srila Prabhupada started the Sunday love feast, and there were 15 preparations, and each one was like outstanding. There was nothing ordinary. Everything was special. I mean, in the Lilamrita it is said that Satsarup wanted to be renounced. So Prabhupada is serving out and he said, any seconds? So then Satsarup didn't want to say more sweet rice. So he just said, just some more rice. Yeah, I just want some more rice. Wanted to be renounced. But even the rice had like little cheese balls in it and cashews and all kinds of things. Even that rice was like, yummy, yummy rice to have. So filled with devotion. And then all that was for free. The Sunday feast, basically, one would come to the Sunday feast, load up the packages, and it would last till Thursday. Okay? Put it in the fridge and it would last till Thursday. On Friday was a miserable day. What to do? But Saturday there was hope because the Sunday feast was near. And then again, right? And devotees would join the temple and would just live from Sunday feast to Sunday feast. The only reason they didn't leave was because you're not going to miss the Sunday feast, are you? You couldn't do that. So somehow or other. But that was Prabhupada's generosity. Prabhupada's way of purchasing people. This amazing prasadam and all for free and take as much as you want. And it made people indebted and it created a service attitude. So this is a Vaishnava who is just so generously giving that anyone just feels indebted. That's the way to preach. That's the way to convince. That is the way that people will actually take Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, why would they take it? Well, we have the superior philosophy. Yeah, everybody's got that. I've got that too, I mean, of course, everyone thinks he's got the superior philosophy, obviously. There's Woody Allen, and Woody Allen said, you can go to a church or a temple or a mosque, but that doesn't make you into a devotee. You can go into a garage, but it doesn't mean you become a car. That's his logic, right? And it's a good line. I mean, he's a text writer. It's a good line. You can go into a garage and you don't become a car. It's smart. Yes, but being in a temple, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Here, you do become a car. Here, you become a devotee. Oh, yes, it happens. It happens every moment. And how does it happen? Because we are being purchased. We're being purchased by devotees. The devotees, they purchase us. Are we the greatest philosophers? Most of us are not. Are we the greatest scholars? Most of us are not. Do we really know Sanskrit? Most of us don't. We just bluff our way through. Do we really know the Shastra? Most of us don't. Right? But one thing is there. We're trying. We're really trying. We're trying to be devotees and do things nicely. One of my early services was to clean a VIP room, and it had to be done very quick. So I got the dust and I put it under the carpet. And then I thought, Krishna can also look under the carpet, so that's not going to work. So lifted it back up, took the dust out, and actually took it out. Yes, devotion, not cutting corners, but really do it properly. Do it as nicely as we can. Give ourselves. And in this way, everything becomes possible. In this way, we can expand our boundaries. Whereas in the material world, it's like, you're being educated for a particular type of thing, and that's what you do. Something else you cannot do. But in this movement, the principle of surrender, surrender somehow or other brings us to the point of trying. So, well, I mean, I'm not really trained for this. I don't know anything about it. Anyway, you try. Okay, I'll try. And on the strength of trying, and with struggle, but we learn. And somehow or other it gets done. Somehow or other. So in that way, this movement is not going on mundane skill, or it just goes on the sincere effort. Doesn't mean that we cannot use any mundane skill. We can, obviously. We can take something from experts and use it. But that is boga. That is boga. And that we have to offer. And if you, to Krishna, I said it the other day, we must cut away the bad parts and then offer to Krishna. And that can be a little bit risky. Just like when you work in a laboratory and you're testing all kinds of diseases, it's dangerous. You could catch one. Right? It's dangerous. I once had to go for a doctor and they made me do a stool test in India, right? Okay. And then there was the whole test and all the results were on the test. And at the bottom, it said smell. And I was just imagining this guy in the laboratory all day. What a job, smell, right? Oh God. French cheese. Anyway, so that's a dangerous profession to deal with contaminated items. So when we take things from the material world and we engage them in the service of Krishna, it's always a little dangerous because we could, in it unwittingly, pick up some contamination, even although. So there we are a little careful. But still, anything and everything can be, we can find a purpose to offer it in the service of Krishna. Yes, a devotee is not walking around in this world and left and right seeing Maya and just saying, oh, Maya here, Maya there, just like, take away this Maya, and I'm walking the path of pure devotion. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, in a cloud of Hare Krishna. Of course, if we could chant all the time, that would be wonderful, but that's a little difficult. But we can take the things of this world and engage them in the service of Krishna, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Uchate. And yet, the things of the material world also carry a particular quality of a mode of nature. And we take products of ugra karma, of this material, of this modern situation. Ugra karma, horrible work meant to destroy the world. The Prabhupada said, he called factories the dungeons of the demons. So things that are made from the dungeons of the demons. Yes, these things can be purified and used in the service of Krishna. But they may still keep some of their ugra nature, like a computer. Whether you use it for Krishna or for Maya, the computer sucks you dry. And it sort of like sucks your brain. A phone is addictive and is absolutely a dangerous thing. There's no doubt about it. Of course, you can make your phone a devotee. That helps. That's my advice. Make it a devotee. Put lots of Krishna consciousness on that phone. But still, it's still ugra. It's still ugra. A car is still an angry machine. Yeah. Even if you play a nice Hare Krishna tape in it, it's an angry machine. And so on. So Yukta Vairagya is something that for the service of Krishna, yes, but in our private life, as little as possible. That is the principle. The Yukta, yes, we connect everything for the service of Krishna. And for our private life, we minimize it as much as possible. Whatever that means, according to our needs. Obviously, when you're 20, you need less than when you're 70. That's for sure. Things change over time, quite a bit, surprisingly so. But anyway, so we carry on in this world, somehow or other, connecting everything with Krishna for the sake of generosity. So we're very generous. Prabhupada, when it comes to standards, strict for ourselves and liberal with others, Prabhupada said. In preaching, if you're not liberal, how are you going to preach? Wasn't Prabhupada liberal? Extremely liberal. Conservative? No, conservative we are not, Prabhupada said. Right? When they called him a Swami of the conservative sort. Right? No, he was ready to do anything. He went to this peace vigil, this function dedicated to peace because he thought he could chant there. But they would not allow them to do any kirtan because it was supposed to be silent. And then Prabhupada was just chanting japa. Hey, and it's all fine and like bless and bliss and, love, Swami. No, he was not like that. But he was ready to just deal with everyone. No one was exempted. No one was too fallen. I said, sorry, but for you, you can't do anything but you. No, Prabhupada could engage anyone. In Los Angeles, there was someone who went first into one bathroom and then into the other one because there was a sex change and people were a little disturbed. But Prabhupada just told that person, he said, all right, you make your choice, that spiritual life is compared to driving. And we start our journey in the night, and it's pitch dark, and you're driving. You don't see anything. So you really need the white lines on the road. You're basically driving on the white lines. You're just watching those lines, and you're driving on the lines. For non-drivers, that's what drivers do. You watch the lines, and you're driving on these lines, and that keeps you on the road. Otherwise, you cannot see where's the edge of the road, and so you really need the white lines. So, in the beginning in spiritual life, we're driving on the white lines. It's about regulations and this and that. But as we're driving longer, the day begins to appear. And as the day starts, we see also the landscape. And we're driving on the white lines. A beautiful lake over there. Very nice. A mountain. Okay. Yeah, looks nice. Oh, beautiful landscape. So we're seeing so many things, and we're still driving sort of on the lines, but not just looking only at the lines anymore. We also see the landscape. So as we are advancing, it's not only about regulations. Yes, regulations are there, but it's also the landscape. So Prabhupada did not bring regulative principles and make them into a big club and start hitting people over the head. And said, you sinful, you must follow. If you don't want to go to hell, then you will be saved. No. Prabhupada tolerated. He tolerated so many things. And in the process of tolerating, yes, Prabhupada was just allowing people to grow and to take the next step for them. To take a step forward, and in that process be tolerant, and to engage